So I'm Jean-Éric Vergne, obviously I'm French, racing for the STGTA in Formula E.
My name is Grassi. I'm a racing driver for Rocket Venture Racing. Formula E is the only world championship of electric racing cars. We race across the globe with 12 different teams and 12 to 14 races as a world championship. Formula E helps to develop the technology of electric powertrains that will power the cars of the future. So if you think about the motors that we have in the race cars right now, they will be in your commercial vehicle in 3, 4, 5 years. And these motors are lighter, more efficient, better, safer, and will help to transition to a zero-emission vehicle.
You know, the fight against climate change is huge. It cannot said in one word or one sentence, you know, what we have to do together to fight the climate change. But I think the main role of Formula E is, of course, electrification of vehicles. You know, we're racing in the heart of cities in electric vehicles, and we're pushing the electric mobility in the cities. That's the reason why we race in the heart of the cities. That's the reason why we race electric. And obviously, all the manufacturers are involved in Formula E to develop their electric technology, their EV cars, for everybody to be able to drive an electric car in the city today and also in the very near future.
Of course, climate change is much more complex than this. You need to see how you charge your car, how the energy is produced, and so on. But zero-emission vehicles definitely will be a key component of a decarbonization of mobility in the future. In my opinion, you have to be very pragmatic to fight environmental problems. I'll give you an example. If you buy an electric car and you don't use, you're not saving the environment, you're actually hurting the environment. You need to mine the steel, mine the nickel, build the car, produce the rubber of the tires and so on for not using it. If you're able to go from your point A to B using a bicycle, it's more sustainable than an electric car. If you can walk, it's more sustainable than actually owning a bicycle. So it really depends on the usage of the tools and technology that you have at your disposal at the correct price point that represents for yourself. What is maybe the solution in the US is not the solution in Brazil or Nigeria or India. So it really depends on which part of the world you are, how you're doing. So the US is one of the biggest polluters on the world. It's a usage, an average US person uses 17 to 20 times more carbon than an average African person. So racing in one of the biggest cities, or the biggest city in the US, here in New York, where I was in Manhattan earlier today, and you can see the air pollution is high, the noise pollution is high, there are a lot of vehicles going everywhere. Here in the US, the average size of the car, of the SUV, is huge, and it consumes a lot of fuel. So if you can help to show to people that electric cars can be fast, fun, sexy, and you can race with them. As it has been shown in the past, Formula E has been around for 8 years. But if you can even convince even more people to change to electric cars, we're going to have a more sustainable city, a more sustainable future, a better energy transition, not only in New York, but in the US and across the whole globe, as the US generally gives the tendency for the whole world to follow. So the US is a very important market for Formula E.
First of all, I love New York. I came here before I would, race in Formula E, and I think it's a pretty amazing location with all the skyline of Manhattan and the scenery. Also the Statue of Liberty. I don't think you can get any better place than this one. And that's one of the most iconic races we have in Formula E, and it's always a big pleasure for us, the drivers, to come to New York and race. The atmosphere is pretty special, when you go to your hotel in Manhattan, or go out and dinners in such a nice city as New York, it's like you kind of forget what you're here for. It's always special to race in the heart of the cities, but to race in New York City is, it's quite special, and I think it brings a lot to the atmosphere.
So I was in Manhattan yesterday and later and earlier this morning. I visited today the United Nations headquarters. My brothers studied here in Colombia a long time ago. I did already the New York Marathon some years back then. So I've been to New York a lot of times, and I love this city. I love America. I try to come almost once or twice a year whenever I can, and have a lot of fun.
Being a driver is to me the best job in the world. First of all, it's not a job to me, it's a passion, and I was very fortunate to be raised on the go-kart center, on the go-kart track, and have early on the talent that was required. Obviously there was all the work and everything, but I lived the best life. I got to travel the world, I got to meet amazing people, work with amazing people, represent brands, manufacturers, and I got to compete at the highest level in motorsport. And this is not a job; it's a dream.